Another mission directly above the front lines, above the disgusting festering wound, slashed into the land by murderous intent and man's ruinous inventions. It is a revolting sight, and I still remember my feelings when for the first time I saw this ribbon of destruction that stretches across the continent. It was during a navigation flight with my flight instructor. My mind is drifting back to those days in flight training, when navigation flights taught me that flying is not without danger, even when nobody is shooting. We took off and departed on a northwesterly course. Our target would be Rumbeke Airfield in Flanders, about 100 kilometers away. It was a very enjoyable flight over the towns and fields of Wallonia on one of the last warm summer days of the year. When we crossed into Flanders, I noticed that the ground in the distance had changed. Gone was the lush green color of the surrounding countryside, replaced by an ugly brown. With a start I realized that I was looking at the front line. Of course, I'd been there during my time in the artillery, so I'd seen how the blasted fields look from the ground. But it was something very different to see it from the sky. The sheer size of the devastated area was incomprehensible. With horror I realized that this band of ruin stretches all the way from the North Sea to the Swiss border, and I'd been involved in its creation. Here I was, sitting in humanity's most marvelous invention, looking down on mankind's biggest, most horrible, self-inflicted catastrophe. At that moment, I fervently wished that the leaders of England, France, and the Emperor too could be shown this view of what they had created. Maybe they would feel a similar horror as I did at that moment, and agree to stop the madness at once. Horror turned to anger. These men had sent soldiers to their death in the tens of thousands. What do they care? In a sullen mood I continued following my instructor, watchful for any other planes in the sky. Rumbeke is far enough away from the front lines that we shouldn't encounter any enemy planes. But you never know. And I was unarmed, and unwilling to become another casualty. Only a few minutes after we had reversed course to return home, Hans suddenly gave the signal for engine trouble and dove towards a friendly airfield that was nearby. It seemed as if his plane was losing power rapidly. He had to land at once, but motioned for me to continue home on my own. I wanted to make sure that he landed safely and circled the airfield. During his final approach, there was suddenly a huge puff of smoke coming out of his engine. Clearly, it was disintegrating. He really had no time left and needed to land now. With trepidation, I followed his progress. The airfield was just there. He had just a few more 100 meters to go. Would the airplane make it, or would he plummet to the ground? I watched on, not even realizing that I was holding my breath. His plane was noticeably slowing down. Just a few dozen meters left. Just a few meters above ground now. Touchdown any moment. Crossing over the edge of the field. And his wheels are on the ground. He has made it. He's safe. I circled the airfield one more time and then waggled my wings to say goodbye. I now had to find my way back to Maubeuge, following the landmarks that I observed on our way here in reverse order. Also, I had to accomplish this before running out of fuel. I felt very relieved when finally Maubeuge Airfield, with its very distinct Zeppelin hangar, came into view, and I was able to safely land the plane. Hans returned to Maubeuge 2 days later, after the mechanics at the friendly airfield had repaired his engine, and we continued my education by going on another long-distance flight, this time westwards to Bertincourt. We knew that the front of bad weather was moving in from the west, but Hans thought that we could make it to Bertincourt before it. He was wrong. Already during our approach, we saw the towering rain clouds advancing towards us, and soon enough found ourselves flying through curtains of rain. I got quite wet before we finally reached Bertincourt and turned around. And I was very glad to leave the bad weather behind us. Before finishing my education, I had to do a few flights completely on my own. For one of my targets I chose Sedan. I had just arrived above the town when my engine suddenly started to make a very concerning noise. A loud rattling and hammering was emanating from it, and I knew that I had to find a place to land very soon. With the engine sounding like this, and the loss of power that was already noticeable, it was impossible that I would make it back to Maubeuge, which was almost 100 kilometers away. I hastily pulled out my map to look for the nearest airfield. If I followed the Meuse River 20 kilometers southeast, I would arrive at the airfield near Martincourt. But would my engine hold on long enough? The only other alternative was to land in a field here. I reasoned that I might as well try to make it to Martincourt. If the engine dies along the way, I can still land in a field somewhere. I prayed that it wouldn't die just as I was flying over one of the forests on the way, or that the engine would catch on fire. After a few anxious minutes that felt like an eternity, I'd finally made it to Martincourt and started my descent towards the airfield. The engine sounded worse than ever. If it held on for just a few moments longer, I would be able to glide onto the airfield even without the engine. I remember that I also felt a bit sheepish due to the racket that I was making. In my mind I profusely apologized to the inhabitants of Martincourt for the disturbance that I caused. Come on, engine. I know you're sounding worse and worse, and your power is basically gone. Just a few moments longer. You have continued to work for this long. You might as well continue to work for another minute. Come on. I'm almost down on the ground. I think I'm safe now. I am coming in a little bit fast, but it's going to be okay. I pull the wheel back slightly to flare out and lose speed faster. And finally, the wheels touch the ground. And just as they do so, the engine suddenly splurts out hot oil that hits my face and my goggles. I have made it just in time. The memory of that experience sends a shiver down my spine. It is really awful to have engine trouble when there is no airfield in sight. It made me anxiously watch my rev counter as I adjusted the fuel mixture. I reminded myself that I should rather observe the skies around me instead of daydreaming. And it is a good thing I did, because on our way to the front, I suddenly spotted the black puffs of German anti-aircraft fire behind and below me. A timely warning that somebody was trying to sneak up on us from below. Hello there, and welcome to the second episode of our amazing Wings Over Flanders Fields campaign, where we are playing as the German pilot Felix von Berg. I hope you have enjoyed the first episode. If you have not watched it, I suggest you do so because it allowed me to talk about some of the plans for the campaign and also about this awesome simulation that we are using to create the story of Felix. The mission that we played was also a little bit frisky, I would say. It was certainly a tense one. So go ahead and watch that video if you have not done so already. If you did, you might have noticed that the intros to both episodes are connected. These intros and the ones that will come in the next episodes will tell us more about how Felix got to fly on the front lines in FFA 62. Before we launch into today's mission, I'd like to introduce Felix more thoroughly to you than I have been able to do in the first episode. So let's go to the pilot dossier up here. And this is Felix. He is a Gefreiter. This is the lowest rank for a pilot if you're flying as the Germans. He is born in Lippstadt on the 13th of November 1895. Enlisted in the flying unit on the 10th of September 1915. It is now the 9th of November 1915. The current unit is FFA 62 or Feldfliegerabteilung. That stands for Field Flyer Detachment 62 in Flanders. We are equipped with an Aviatik C1. We have so far flown, well, it says 8 missions, but that includes some training missions that I did after the pilot training itself. So we have to reduce this number by 5 if you want to know how many missions I've flown on the front lines, but you will see that in just a moment. Same with the flying hours. I came to the front lines with 8 flying hours under my belt already. So now on the front lines we have about 2.6. Here we see that I have been in pilot training, taken a lot of training flights, and then I had taken a few test flights. Those are the ones that are counted. And I did those at another unit back in Germany. And then I had 3 missions on the front lines, and you see that the second mission was a short one. What happened in those first 2 missions? Because the third one you have seen in the first episode. But what happened in the first 2 missions you will see in one of the future flashbacks in one of the intros. Right, we have not claimed any enemy aircraft so far. We have not been awarded anything. And our squadron history is basically we were in training, then we were in Germany for a spell, then transferred to FFA 62. And that's Felix for you. Now, let's see what kind of mission they are sending us on today. We are flying at 10 past 10 in the morning. I could push this back to the afternoon if I wanted to, but you know what, we're gonna leave it like this. There will be 2 flights going out. First flight, the Germans at this point called the flights Kette, so chain. Chain 1 is just Hauptmann Max Büchner. He is a Fokker E1 pilot. Excellent skill, lots of missions, 4 victories already confirmed. Average morale though, so his morale is flagging a little bit. And there will be me flying together with my observer Otto von Schelicher, who is a really good observer, so that's great that we have him. Good. Let's go ahead and see what kind of mission they're sending us on. Nice picture here, a historical one. This simulation has so many historical pictures. But here we are. Our mission is photo reconnaissance. Fly over the region and take photographs of true positions and movements. Our destination is the enemy's front sector, FF726. Distance 20 miles, round trip 40 miles, time to target 20 minutes. And those values are not taking into account that we have to climb to 2,600 meters. So those values are very much off. That really isn't a good indication of how long this mission will be. This number down here on the right is a better one. Total flight time approximately 62 minutes, but will be up longer than that because we also need to take those photos. Yeah, recommended average altitude 2,600 meters. We should take a camera with us and Kette 1, so Chain 1 will assist by flying top cover. Let me select the loadout. We are gonna bring a camera before I forget that. I have set my fuel to 75% and that should be plenty. It lightens our aircraft a little bit. Now, if I zoom in here, I can show you where we are going. Oh, this is an interesting one. We haven't been that far south yet. This here is our airfield at Douai. Let me zoom in a little bit more. From there, we will be flying southeast to our circle up waypoint. This is just a waypoint that is a bit further ahead from the front lines and will hopefully allow us to circle up to 2000 meters without being jumped by any enemies that come over the front lines. From there, we are supposed to fly northwest to Vimy, 2400 meters, and then down to the British front sector near Arras here. Let's see. Are there any features that will help me to identify where this is? It is just south of the town. Mercatel is next to it, but Mercatel is at this point probably gone. So that won't be much use. There's a road running through here. It is west of that road. I'm sure we'll find it. And if not, our observer is really good and he'll be able to point it out to us. It's possible, I noticed that the waypoint number 1, we won't actually fly up there. We might fly from the circle up waypoint directly down to the front sector. But we'll just follow Hauptmann Max Büchner. He outranks me after all. Everybody in this squadron outranks me at this point. He outranks me and we'll just follow him. So with that all said, let's go ahead. Let's go into the mission. Alright, we are on the airfield. Weather is still quite good and we are turning on the engine, so let me do the same. There we go. And I think we'll just roar down the field here. Throttle forward. Let's go. He's gonna take off immediately after us. Oh. Do not stall the aircraft. That is fine. And we are. Now you might see there that some tents have burned down. Our airfield has been bombed and, well, a bit of damage was caused, but that's gonna be repaired over the next few days. The damage is actually, if you have the newest expansion, the last hurrah, then the damage is on the airfield is, how should I say, persistent. So if the enemies hit the airfield, the damage stays there and then gets repaired, and you can actually see during the next few days how it gets repaired. How they are putting up new tents, how they are working on sheds and everything. It's quite nice. It's really cool that they did that. So, right now, let's turn towards the southeast and we are gonna fly to our circle up waypoint. We are gonna follow Hauptmann Büchner here. And let me also go ahead and reduce the mixture here a bit so that our engine works better. Good. Alright. It is now currently 19 past 10 in the morning. Circling up takes a long time. And I don't want to bore you with that. So I'm gonna put a cut into the video here. And I'll bring you back once we are at altitude and getting closer to the front lines. Unless something should happen in the meantime. But you will then see how long it takes us to just circle up and get to where we need to be. It is a really long time. See you in a few moments. Welcome back. We have company. I noticed flag behind me, German flag, the black puffs. There's an enemy biplane on my tail. trying to climb up to us. That's kinda bad. Where the hell is my escort? He should be somewhere in the immediate vicinity. And if he jumps this guy, then I can try to help him out. Oh, there's my escort, okay. Go ahead and jump this guy, and then we can jump him together. Otto is engaging. Good job, Otto. Get him. Yeah, he's going. I'm gonna follow. Get him, Otto, get him, get him. Yeah, you're hitting him. We're a bit far away. Keep shooting, Otto. Wouldn't that be something if we could bring down an enemy plane? But he seems to be faster than we are. And we might have scared him off here. He might be running away. Well, the flak is still shooting at him, but they're a little bit off. Not very accurate today. Yeah, he's running. Can we catch up? Only if his engine is damaged, I think. The Aviatik is certainly not slow, especially not in a dive. But that looked like a Newport single-seat Scout. I don't think we are catching that. So I think we are gonna break off and focus on our mission. Try to complete that instead. Oh wait, I think he's slowing down. Did we hit his engine? Our buddy is behind us, following as well, but he is flying a Fokker E1. That thing has a severely underpowered engine. It's really not great. Is he slowing down or not? Are we gaining on him? I don't want to follow too far over enemy lines. For obvious reasons. I don't want to be jumped by any enemies coming to assist him. He's right there. Let's try to cut him off this way. Our flak is still shooting at him. While our flak is able to reach him, we can't be too far away from our side of the lines. So I'll keep pursuing for a moment longer. But I think he's running away. He recognized that that he is in a bad position fighting us both. So he decided to get away. Don't see him anymore. Where is he? Where'd he go? How did I lose him? I take my eye off him for a second and he's gone. Maybe he dove down. Okay, I'm gonna turn around. I think I'm now getting some flak in return. Yeah, we certainly are. We both are. Let's return to our original mission. He must have dived at just that moment and I lost him. No trace of him. Okay. The flag is taking a very keen interest in us. We need to get out of here. Jesus Christ, this is a lot. This is a lot. Let's maneuver a little bit. Make sure that we are climbing out. It's good that we were on our own side of the lines when that guy decided to stalk us. Our flak shooting at him gave him away. Otherwise he might have been able to approach me from beneath my tail where I wouldn't be able to see him. So we got a bit lucky there. But we put a few shots into him. I saw the hits on his plane from Otto. So that's gonna be a plane that they have to repair before they can send it up again into the sky. That's good. And yes, those statistics are tracked. So his squadron is gonna have one plane that needs repairs now. Okay. Now I will have to figure out where we are. If we look at the map, you will see green lines representing my flight plan. And you will see that from the circle up waypoint, the flight plan says basically go directly to the front line position. But I don't know where I currently am. Usually in the game you would see this. There would be a marker showing your exact position. But I asked the developers if it is possible to somehow remove that, and they kindly provided me with a mod or with a modified file so that that marker is not shown, and I have to figure out where I am for myself, making things a bit more challenging. Of course I can always ask my observer, but because we were in a fight, he's right now telling me to run away. And is of no use whatsoever anymore. So I can leave that off. I will have to figure it out by myself. Let's see. I mean, others should be pretty easy to find. It should be a city on the enemy side of the lines. But the clouds are making it kinda difficult, although I see buildings, or the ruins of buildings over there. Arras might be just below that cloud. Yeah, I think that's Arras. So from Arras we have to go south a little bit. Yeah, that is Arras. That's Arras alright. If I look on the compass, we are flying southwest right now. There are roads leading to Arras. One seems to be going east to west. That might be the Cambrai-Arras road. And there should be the Bourbon-Arras road going south-southeast to north-northwest. And I think that might be the second road that we are seeing there. So if I follow that road, that should basically bring me very close to the frontline position. that we need to observe. That road down there. My escort still... Yeah, he's still with me. He's back there. Over there above me. Okay. I'm gonna focus my efforts now on finding the correct position to be in. And we will resume the video once I have that figured out and can start to take photos. Welcome back. I think I have it figured out. The frontline position that we are supposed to photograph is basically just down there to our left. It corresponds to how it looks here on the map. There is an enemy position a little bit behind the lines to the north of our target, and I think that is the one that you can now see on our 5 o'clock on the map. And this one that we are steering towards now, that should then be that one, just south of it, and that seems to fit. So we are gonna take pictures here. I am too high. I have to lose a bit of altitude. That should be okay. Yeah, that's pretty okay. And there we are. We are now within the boundaries of this area where we need to be. Let's look. There's some artillery fire going on down there. Photograph taken. Okay. I don't think that will be a good photograph because I was side-slipping a bit. That's gonna be an issue. By the way, the tech view that you see on the lower left, I'm basically using that as my communication with the observer, Otto here. This is basically Otto pointing out things to me. I've reduced the range of the tactical display to 4 kilometers. You can increase that up to 8, but I don't think Otto has such sharp eyes, especially not with these clouds around. Okay, that's just enemy flak shooting at our buddy up there. We are not currently receiving any fire. Seems to all be directed at him for now, which is good. He's a bit higher than I am, so he's safer from that. But yeah, we are now just gonna do our job, do reconnaissance by circling back and taking another picture of that position. In total, we have 5 photographic plates that we can expose. So we can take 5 pictures. And my hope is that at least one of them will be good. Because then this year will have been worthwhile and we are gonna get some credit for that. It would be a shame to return home with not a single good picture of the area that we are supposed to photograph. That would be a real shame. So we are going in again. I'm gonna try to keep my plane stable because yes, that counts. That's important. If you can't keep your plane stable, then the image will be blurry and won't be usable. So it's important to try to keep the plane stable as much as you can, on a stable course too, and level as much as you are able to. Gonna reduce our speed a little bit. Yeah, I'm receiving flak, but that's okay. They are quite inaccurate, usually. I just want to be really above the enemy's positions when I press the trigger. If we look here, we can actually see the enemy trenches down there. Let's take a picture. There we go. And that's how this works. This is how you do recon work. You have an area that you are supposed to fly to. And then you start taking pictures while the enemies are shooting at you. Sounds lovely. I just hope that no more enemy fighters show up. We were lucky that it was just one. If it had been a group of them, we could have been in some serious trouble. Forced to abort the mission. But we were lucky with that. Still, I have to remain vigilant. Always keep an eye on my tail. Always keep an eye on my escort too, in case that he should suddenly dive onto somebody. But for now we are good. Keep the airplane stable. It helps if you throttle down a bit. And there are the enemy positions. Say cheese. Okay, I'll turn off tech view now. Oh, there's artillery bombarding the area beneath us. Now from here we have to fly pretty much northeast to return to Dubai. We are gonna do that on our own. Northeast. Basically have to turn around here. No contacts behind us, very nice. By the way, did you notice that the Aviatik, we don't have a joystick, we have a steering wheel? That's so cool. That is so cool. If you ask me. That really is cool. And now we are flying home. We have taken our pictures. We are flying home. And because your time is valuable, I'm not gonna bore you with the flight home. We will resume the video once I'm closer. Once we are descending towards the airfield. I think that's when I'll resume the video. Or once we are about to land. And I hope I don't mess up the landing and kill myself. But we'll see. We'll see in just a few moments for you and quite a lot of minutes for me. Welcome back. I have spotted our airfield. It is right there. We can see the burnt out tents. So I know that we are at the correct one. And I'm just now diving directly towards it. Our escort is following behind. And we will soon be able to land here. Let's increase the mixture, because we are going lower. Don't overdo it with the revs. 1400 is fine. And there is Dubai airfield. Nice. Okay, we are gonna go this way for a moment. And then we are gonna turn in and land. And I hope I don't smash the airplane. That would be quite sad. That would be really sad. Okay. Let's turn around. Let's start reducing the throttle. And let's line up for our final approach. Let's make sure that we see where we are going by side-slipping a little bit. But this is looking good. Reduce the speed further. And level out, flare out a little bit, and a bounce. That's okay. Dig the skid in, and we are coming to a stop very fast. Let's taxi over to the tents. Oh, I landed with the wind. That doesn't matter. It's fine. The wind is not very strong today, not at all. And we are down. Let's turn off the engine by turning off the magnetos. And there we go. The propeller will now soon come to a stop. Our escort will land in just a few minutes as well. He will now make his landing approach and is then gonna land just the same way we did. Oh boy, that was a recon mission. We took some photographs, but we were also attacked by an enemy scout, but managed to turn the tables very quickly on him, and then he suddenly was the one being shot up instead of the other way around. The Aviatic, with these two machine guns, can be quite a mean girl. It really can be quite a mean opponent. And if you have a competent observer who can hit stuff, then these machine guns can be terrifying. Their rate of fire is very high. They don't have to fire through a propeller, they are not synchronized with a propeller, so they can use the full rate of fire of the machine gun. And that's a lot, as you have seen. Good. Okay. I'll wait a little bit until he lands. And then we are gonna take a look at the mission results and see if any of our photos are actually usable. So see you in just a few moments. Alright, here we have the mission results. So, total flight time was 65 minutes. Our efforts are making a difference. Get ready for your next sortie. Final status: my observer is relieved. We landed back at our home airfield. We managed to take several good photographs of the target region. That's good. Our airfield has sustained some damage from enemy bombers. Repair will commence as soon as possible, so that is because it's still damaged. This does not mean that it received further damage while we were in the air. It's just that it is damaged by enemy bombers and repairs are underway. Kommandant's debrief for Kette 2. Our brief was for the reconnaissance. Meine Herren, our mission for today was to reconnoiter the region. Kette 2 progress was as follows. A total of 1 pilot took off and started out for the designated area. One machine reached a rendezvous point with the Fokker E1 from FFA 62. One machine landed safely, because it's just counting my own flight. It doesn't count the E1 that accompanied us. Enemy craft that tried to stop our recce activity were destroyed. Good show. So maybe that plane did go down, but I'm not gonna claim it because I did not see it go down. And I wouldn't have a witness that saw it, because in this game you can claim a kill, but you need witnesses. We fired 109 rounds. 7 of those rounds hit something. 6% accuracy. Okay, let's go to the details. Landed at Douai, both of us. Yeah, we fired 109 rounds, hit 7. Max Büchner fired 23 rounds, didn't hit. Maybe we got into his way, I don't know. But yeah, his Fokker E1 is just too slow. That thing is so underpowered. No claims. Let's go to the details for the recon mission. First photo, not level. Second photo, good plate. Third photo, good plate. Then we had one that was overexposed. And another good plate. So 3 good pictures, that's really good. So to date we have taken 5 good photos. Very good. I'm very happy with this result. I really am. 3 good plates, that's quite a lot. And with that, that was today's mission. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at something, just out of curiosity. It's a new day, it is now the 10th of November. The battle is still raging on. The battle is approximately 14 miles away. We are so close, we are permanently on edge. Be extremely careful out there, and if hit, always strive to get back over friendly lines before trying to find a suitable landing spot. Current enemy air operations are quite numerous, and the air war has been dubbed the Fokker Scourge. Viel Glück. But I just want to review the mission that we have flown today. I will select the results for my own squad. And we will have this... We'll advance this manually. We have become airborne. Let me zoom in. Okay. We have become airborne, we have flown down here. Then we circled up. Started to go for the front lines, and then there was the engagement. So my rounds hit that guy. Then he did go down. Damn, when I lost sight of him. Maybe his wing broke off. Damn it. Hadn't I lost sight of him, I might have seen that his wing broke off or something, and then I would definitely have claimed that aircraft. But I just didn't see it, he was just gone suddenly. I thought he dove down. But either maybe the pilot bled out, or his wing collapsed and he plunged down. But I didn't think that he crashed just behind the front lines here, so basically just as we lost sight of him. Ah well, can't be helped now. I can't go back and claim that. I would have had to claim it immediately after the mission. So that doesn't count. Then we flew this way and that way, searching for our objective. Then we started to take the recon pictures, flying back and forth over the enemy's position. Until we had the pictures that we needed, and then we flew back towards our airfields. And there we are. Landed back at home. What a mission! I enjoyed this one. That fighter on our own side of the lines, that really surprised me. That he alone would go that far, but he's dead now. Who did we even kill? Escadrille 57 and Newport 10. Escadrille 57. Let's take a quick look at the information in the intelligence room. Where are they based? Enemy squadrons. Let's move the map over there. Escadrille 57. They are based at Savi Airfield over here. We were down here when we had disengagement. He crashed somewhere over here. So he tried to fly home, but didn't make it. I think he either bled out or one of the wings collapsed, but I think it's more likely that he bled out in the air. I don't think we really did enough damage to have a wing collapse on him. Damn. Well, that's just how the fates somehow play during the war. Sometimes you bring down an enemy plane without even knowing. Well, that's that. Okay, yeah, they are flying Newport 10s. "80 horsepowers, speed 100 miles. He's faster than the Fokker E1. I think so. Escadrille 57. Well, let me show you my own plane. So, my plane, the Aviatik C-type. The Aviatik C-1 bomber aircraft was introduced from around December 1915 onwards, but that's not quite correct. It was already introduced before that, so that's why we are flying it. Crew 2, a pilot and a gunner observer. Maximum speed 82 miles per hour at sea level. Maximum ceiling 11,500 feet. Maximum range 280 miles. The power plant is one 160 horsepower Mercedes D3 inline water-cooled engine. This beauty up here. Armament 2 7.92mm light machine guns 0815 in the observer's cockpit. This variant of the Aviatik had a much better power plant, the Mercedes D3 with 160 horsepowers, which improved climb and speed despite increased weight from the engine and new guns. The B2 and B1, the Aviatiks that come before this one, they are not armed at all. It still had the observer sitting in the front for a better observation view, but now it was armed with a Parabellum MG14 and sometimes 2 guns mounted on side rails on the observer's cockpit. It was very good for the reconnaissance role, with a large operational range to help keep it out of a fight. It arrived in April 1915 and lasted well until 1917. Yeah, that information is correct. The last 50 ordered had the pilot and observer cockpits swept around and were only used as trainer aircraft. The machine's primary role was that of bomber, but was also used in a reconnaissance role. And yeah, we are a reconnaissance squadron. Our principal role is recon, bombing or escort fighter. So far we have only done reconnaissance operations, only reconnaissance missions. But for today's mission we have another note in our logbook. Very nice. Okay. Now, with that all said, I think we are gonna end the episode for today. And I hope to see you again next time when we fly another mission in this really amazing flight simulation. Let me know in the comments how you liked this one today. And I hope to see you again next time. Until then, have some really great days and goodbye.